So here's part 2. We're on slide 6 of 9. So now we're going to find both signs again, but we're going to pay close attention to the signs. So in this case, I have a positive 5 and a positive 6. I have a positive 5x minus 6. I have a negative 5x plus 6. And I have a negative 5x minus 6. So what we're going to do is pay super close attention to these signs. Well, we instantly know that this first square here is going to be x squared. Always starts with x for these factorings. And so we're going to have x and x squared. So to start with our first one here, we want 5x and a 6. So I know for sure I need to get to 6. Well, the factors of 6 are 3 and 2 and 6 and 1. What I'm trying to accomplish is to get to this 5x in the center. So whatever is here in this box and whatever's here need to add up to 5x. Well, let's see. I know that factoring, if I added 5 and 6, that would give me 7. So 3 and 2 will actually give me 5. So let's do plus 3 and plus 2. So this would give me 3x. This would give me 2x. 3x plus 2x gives me 5x. So I know that I need to have x plus 3, and I need to have x plus 2 for the first one here. Perfect. So now let's look at our second one here. I have x squared plus 5 and minus 6. So now I need to figure out what is going to give me a negative 6. So I could have negative 3 and 2, or I can have negative 2 and a 3, or a negative 6 and a positive 1, or negative 1 and a positive 6. But keep in mind, in our middle part here with the solid 1, the 1x, the one that's not x squared, I actually need to have a positive 5. So that means when I'm choosing my numbers, the positive number needs to be the largest and the smallest number needs to be the negative. Well, let's try. Let's try 3 and 2. So let's do positive 3 and a negative 2. So this would give me 3 and negative 2. Well, 3 minus 2 is actually 1. So if I flip them around and did a negative 3 and a positive 2, I had negative 1 still. So, or just a 1 in general. So I know it can't be that set of factors. So let's try 6 and 1. So let's try a positive 6 and a negative 1. 6 times x is going to give me 6x. X times a negative 1 will give me a negative 1x. And if I put these all together, I have x squared plus 6x minus 1x minus 6. 6 minus 1 actually gives me a positive 5. So boom, there we go. I have exactly that same answer. So I know that my factor needs to be x plus 6, x minus 1. So x plus 6. And it doesn't have to be in that order. I could have put the negative 1 where the 6 is. It's all good. So now what we're going to look at is, we're going to clear this out, and this is going to be x squared, so x and x. So now I have negative 5x plus 6. So I have a positive 6 for my y-intercept. So if I recall, the factors are 3 and 2 and 6 and 1. All right, so one of them has to be negative. Actually, no, both of them need to be negative. If I have one negative, 2 negatives will give me a positive. So I honestly have to have a negative number and another negative number. Let's say this is negative 6 times 1. Well, negative 6 times negative 1 will give me that positive 6 that I'm looking for. So now I need to figure out what 2 factors, 3 and 2 or 6 and 1, will give me that negative 5. Well, let's start with negative 6 and a negative 1. You can honestly start with whichever you want. So negative 6 times x is going to give me a negative 6x, and then negative 1 times x is going to give me a negative 1. Well, if I combine these two together, I'm actually going to get a -7, which is not the -5 that I'm looking for. So I know it can't be 6 and 1. So let's try 3 and 2. Well, 3 times x, or -3x, gives me a -3x. And -2 times x is going to give me a -2x. Meaning if I combine those together, if I owe you $3 and then I owe you 2, I'm going to owe you -$5. So boom, this one works. So now I'm looking for an x minus 3 and an x minus 2. So let's see. X minus 3 and an x minus 2. So let's make sure our last one works here with this -1 and this -6. So again, we have, well actually now we have a -6. We have a -6 here, meaning one of my numbers needs to be negative. Well, in this case we have -6 and a positive 1. Well, since I already know, kind of got it down just a little bit, I know that -6 plus a 1 is actually going to give me a -5. I don't really need to do the math once I start getting a hang of it, but it's always nice to double check. So -6 plus a 1x will give me a -5. So these two are going to be the last ones. So let's try a next one here. So sharing, we're going to share a good strategy for converting equations like x squared plus bx plus c, so our standard form, into factored form. You can give an example if you'd like. I would say my biggest suggestion would be use a box diagram to help you, a little crazy. Box diagram to help you sort out the factors. You can also know what you are factoring. You can also know what the numbers in the parentheses go into by taking the factor of the y-intercept, aka the number without an x attached to it. Write whatever you want that's going to help you, or maybe another suggestion that might help someone else, but make sure you hit share with class. So number 8 here, some expressions may be impossible to factor. Try to factor each of these expressions in the left column here. So let's see. I got my little factor tree here, or my factor box diagram. So I have x squared 13x plus 12. Okay, so I know the factors of 12 because this is what we need to factor out in order to figure out those two boxes, or the two numbers that go in the parentheses. I know that the factors of 12 are 3 and 4, 6 and 2, and 12 and 1. Now, of those factors, which two are going to add together to give me 13? Well, 3 plus 4 doesn't give me 13. 6 plus 2 doesn't give me 13. 12 plus 1. So yes, absolutely, this is factorable. If it is factorable, we're going to say what it is. So I have parentheses x plus 6 and parentheses x plus 1. And those factor out. So now let's try 8x and 12. So we're going to figure out the term in the center, because remember, these two boxes are going to get added together to give me that 8x. So let's see, 3 plus 4, since it's positive, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this gives me 8, 6, 7, 8. Hey, that one gives me 8 too. 12 and 1 give me 13 if I add them together. So yes, this is possible either way, right? 6 times 2 is 12 and 3 times 4 is 12. So you can choose either factor. I'm gonna choose the 6 and 2. You can choose the 3 and 4 if you'd like. So, oops. So x plus 6, x plus 2. Cool. All right. So let's see about, we're still having 12, so we're going to get to 2 if I add them together. Well, obviously I looked at all of these. 3 and 4 give me 8. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? And I'm sorry, I messed this up. 3 plus 4 is not 8, it's 7. I apologize. So yeah, 6 and 2 is the only option for the last one. Anyway, so see, even teachers make mistakes. I can't get a factor of 2x at all, because 3 plus 4 is 7, 6 plus 2 is 8, 12 plus 1 is 13. So this is not possible. So all we're going to say is no, because I can't factor it. Well, let's try 15. 15? Absolutely not. We got 13, 8, and 7. So this is not possible either. Now we have negative 13 plus 12. So now both of my numbers are negative. So I need to have both negative numbers, because 2 negatives will give me that positive 12. Well, let's see. That is possible, because look, even if I flip the sign, negative 12 and a negative plus negative 1 is still going to give me 13. So yes, that is possible. I just need to make sure that both of my signs are minuses, or negatives in this case. So I have x minus 12 and x minus 1 for this to work. So I need another similar equation that works that gives me an answer. Well, if we look back at what we had, we can actually say 3 and 4. So if I factor x plus 3, x plus 4, and honestly, however you want to write it, if you want to do both negatives, both positives, however you want. Or sorry, you can do both negatives or both positives. For this case, I want to do both positives. So 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have x squared plus 7x plus 12. So let's see, if I plug these in, right? So if I put 3 and 4, I would get 4x and 3x to get all the same things. So what would be another one that would be no? Well, let's see. If I have negative 13 and a positive 15 and a positive 2, I could honestly put whatever number I feel in for this middle term. So this x, regular x. So I'm gonna put 1x plus 12, because that's not even possible at all. And our last sorting here. I actually want you to pause the video and I want you to try this one out first, and then we'll come back together. Alright, now that you kind of paused this video and tried some out, what's going to happen here is now we're dealing with 3 attached to this x. So honestly, one of these factors needs to have a 3. One of these x's needs to have a 3. So we have 3x squared, and this is where it gets a little bit more tricky. Now I have my factors of 20, which is 2 and 10, 5 and 4, 20 and 1, and that's it. So now what's going to happen is I need to make sure whatever this box right here is, I need to 100% make sure that I'm multiplying it by 3. Meaning whatever this number is, so factor 2, 10. So if I put a 2 here, 3 times 2 would give me a 6x. Okay? So we have 20 here. This is our 20. We have a positive 20. So what we can see is I need to get to 17. Well, let's try 3 times 10. Well, 3 times 10 would give me 30. That'd be too large. 3 times 2 could give me 6, but 6 plus 10 doesn't give me 17. But that definitely does give me this middle one here. So I could definitely figure out the middle one. So plus 2 plus 10. So it'd be 10x, 6x. Would actually give me this answer right here.